My guess is at some point President Trump or his surrogates will say, perhaps I am a convicted felon, you are unconvicted felons. You have engaged in egregious conduct. It just hasn't resulted in us using the court system to go after you. I think the Biden campaign needs to be really, really careful. His son may be a convicted felon by this time next week. The other thought I had going to...
I hope Donald Trump goes with that strategy, repeatedly calling himself a convicted felon, but then coming up with a completely new term and referring to President Biden as an unconvicted felon. Just some genius ideas coming from Fox News over here. But I also want to point out, it didn't even take them 30 minutes after the conviction to pivot to Hunter Biden, to obfuscate and deflect, which they are so good at. It is a prime example of the deflection tactics they use to stop Donald Trump from facing any sort of accountability or responsibility every time he does something wrong. Fox News acts like if you polled Americans on their top issues, Hunter Biden would be at the top of that list, but in reality, it's stuff like the economy, education, healthcare, inflation. Nobody has Hunter Biden on their list of concerns heading into the 2024 election because Hunter Biden isn't at the top of the Democratic ticket, whereas Donald Trump is at the top of the Republican ticket. But if you guys have been online over the past few days, you probably also enjoyed watching MAGA collectively melt down over Donald Trump's conviction. But there's a piece of this I've seen people miss. They haven't been covering the fact that Trump supporters are now actively bankrupting themselves, donating their last dollar, their last penny towards Donald Trump's campaign and his legal fees. Mom2Warrior said on Twitter, "Prior to this day, I did something I've never done before. I've donated twice to President Trump's campaign. I don't have a lot of money, but it was well worth it." And in response to that, Common Sense Custodian said something without a lot of common sense. He said, "I will donate another $20 and make it 70 since you did it twice. I cannot pay my grocery bills. I am 30K in debt since 2021. Screw it. We have one more chance to save this experiment in freedom." But keep in mind, the MAGA fan base have been the ones claiming that the American economy is currently in a recession, despite there being no data to back that up. If you poll Republicans, the vast majority of them believe the American economy is currently melting down because President Biden is at the helm. But then you poll people on their own personal situation, and the vast majority of Americans say they are personally doing well. So the only data they have to back up this recession is vibes. That's why people call it a vibe session. But the fact that MAGA supporters will say in one breath that they don't have enough money to pay their bills or to buy groceries or to buy gas, but then in the next breath they will say they're donating their last dollar, their last penny to Donald Trump is just absolutely absurd to me. But it gets worse. Somebody replied to that last tweet from Common Sense Custodian and said, "My husband is 69. I'm 71. I care for my handicapped 74-year-old sister. We are on Social Security and I sell my years of antique dolls and doll clothes collections to help. I'm battling cancer, but all that being said, we will cut where we can to donate. It's that important to save our country." So Donald Trump has convinced a bunch of MAGA sycophants that donating their last dollar to his campaign will save our democracy. I mean, the grift truly never ends. We've seen him sell his own version of the Bible, his own sneakers. He sends wild texts asking people what they're wearing, and then at the bottom of that text message will ask them to donate. All the while, these people claim that the economy is so bad that they can't afford any of their bills. And listen, of course, inflation sucks for everybody, but if inflation really concerns you that much, you should be saving your money. You should be stockpiling your money and using it towards things like your bills and not Donald Trump's legal fees when he doesn't know who you are and he doesn't care about you whatsoever. Watch these clips of Trump supporters telling me they've spent $1 million on Donald Trump, and then another one tells me they'll donate $50 to his bond despite Trump being a billionaire.
We the people got to open our eyes, open our wallets, stand at your polling stations and make sure that they're not cheating us again.
I mean, you're talking to probably the #1 Trump guy. I mean, I probably put $1 million into Trump, but I've never made a cash donation.
Wow.
I drive this bus around as a rolling billboard. It's my part-time hobby. I go to rallies. I meet great people. I give out free stuff.
Have you seen a return on that $1 million? Or is it like you've sunk it into Trump?
I sunk it into, taking this bus off the road for almost 8 years.
Wow.
When I talk to people and I say, you're much better off now than you were during Trump. Well, just think about one thing, not all the other things. I've lost 3 businesses during this bullshit. I had 4 businesses. I'm down to this business, my bus business. My bus business, during COVID, I almost lost my bus business. I lost 3 other businesses. I had a restaurant for 25 years. Biden shut that down.
I'm sorry to hear
everything 3 times more expensive.
Trump is in jail. Next election, do you still vote for him?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll even send him $50 for his bond.
Damn.
Yep.
He's a billionaire, though. You could give him money?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I think the most frustrating part of this is, if Donald Trump were currently in office, we know for a fact that MAGA would be saying the economy is roaring, the stock market is hitting all-time highs, we have the lowest inflation in the world. They would actually begin pointing to the data that's right in front of their eyes, but only if Donald Trump were in office. Because it's President Biden, they are so eager to blame some sort of economic meltdown that doesn't exist on the current Democratic administration. It's a common theme that we've seen across time. Right when Democrats get into office, people begin to claim the economy is terrible, even if the economy hasn't changed all that much. But watch this next clip of Fox News melting down.
We have gone over a cliff in America. This verdict is a verdict of someone who was forced to fight a 1,000-pound gorilla with both hands tied behind his back. This was a defendant for whom crimes were created, against whom a judge was picked that out of the ordinary, not from the drum, but a judge who was handpicked for this defendant, who denied him the ability to fight the way he needed to fight, who brought in crimes that we've never heard of in New York before, where
crimes that nobody's ever heard of before, like falsifying business records. I'm sure nobody in New York has ever been charged with that before. But another funny aspect of this is that Fox News was predicting the markets would absolutely melt down if Donald Trump was actually convicted, but the exact opposite happened. Watch this clip.
I want to get John in for one final comment. If there is a conviction, what happens to markets tomorrow? Very simple.
I think markets crash tomorrow if there's a conviction, but I think they will bounce back because, look, even if they put Donald Trump in jail, I think the American people will vote him into president. We will vote him into the White House right out of the New York City jail. It's an outrageous trial, and people can see.
But if there's a conviction, you think there'll be a crash?
I think the markets will do very badly.
What are you talking about, a 1,000-point loss?
I think we'll see at least a 2% drop.
Okay. John Carney, I want to thank you.
The best part is we saw the exact opposite scenario play out. Donald Trump was convicted and the markets jumped rapidly. The Dow gained almost 2 percentage points yesterday. And David Pakman sarcastically said, as you can see, the markets are reacting very negatively to Trump's conviction, as the markets absolutely rip and continue to hit all-time highs under Biden's watch. But MAGA Republicans conveniently won't talk about that. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like. Let's get MeidasTouch to 3 million subscribers. I do daily videos on my personal channel, which will be in the description below. Everybody have a great day yourself.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.